This e-commerce company was doing $55 million a year, but they thought they had room for improvement on their meta ads, and they're a little skeptical about the agency they're working with. So they reached out to us, we audited their account, and we found $6 million in mistakes. So in this video, I'm gonna break that down for you so you can look out for red flags in your ad account as well. Okay, mistake number one was their prospecting campaign. Out of all the purchases from their prospecting campaigns, 75% were existing customers. Prospecting campaigns should be acquiring new customers only. So we knew there was an exclusion problem going on here, so we dove right into their highest spend prospecting campaign, which was their Advantage Shopping Plus campaign. And then we went into the defined buyers for the ASC. And in there, we did not find the correct exclusions. What's supposed to be in there is Meta's in-platform 180-day past purchasers, and then a fully dynamically updated CSV list of all your customers. And that's a super easy integration that you can do. What they had though, is they had add to carts, website visitors, and then a really old CSV list that was not updated of their existing buyers. And since they updated that CSV last, they have grown significantly. So that was not a lot of customers for them. And why this happens, why if you don't have proper exclusions in your prospecting campaigns, Meta is going to find the cheapest purchase possible, and that's going to be your existing customers. Especially for this company, they're a clothing brand with multiple SKUs, high repeat purchase rate. So Meta was just targeting for the cheapest purchases possible. Another note with their ASC campaign is for prospecting, you can set the budget cap of how much you want to spend of that budget for existing customers. And their budget was at 30%. You want that to be 0% for prospecting campaigns because you only want new customers. Meta is not going to be perfect. Some existing buyers are going to sneak through that campaign, but it's not going to be 75% with the proper exclusions. We also went into their ABO prospecting campaign, and there was only one ad set that was efficiently acquiring new customers, and that was the only ad set that was properly excluding all of their up-to-date buyers. So that was definitely recommendation number one. Make sure you have the proper exclusions set in place for your prospecting campaign. Mistake number two, this was misaligned campaign objectives. They had some campaigns that were add to cart campaigns and traffic campaigns. For add to cart campaigns, if you select that, Meta is very good at doing what you're asking it for. Doing what you're asking it for? I'm not sure if that's English. Meta is very good at doing what you ask it to do. So when you ask for add to carts, you're gonna get window shoppers. If you ask for a traffic campaign, then you're gonna get people who just like to click on ads, interested, checking your stuff out, but not actually checking your stuff out. And that's not what you want. But there's a caveat here. Sometimes traffic campaigns can work well for awareness if you test for incrementality. And this agency was not testing for incrementality, but they could have done something super easy. It's called a holdout test. You can do it for free. There are paid options, which will get you statistical significance, so you know for sure that it's working or not working. But if you don't want to spend the money on House or another software like that, what you can do is say you're running all your conversion campaigns across the entire United States. In one half of the United States, that's going to be your test, and the other half of the United States, that's going to be your base. So both sides have the conversion campaign, but the test side, you're gonna lay on your traffic campaign on that half only and exclude the rest. And then at the end of the test trial, you can compare the two, the test and the base, and you can see if a traffic campaign is actually efficient for your overall return on ad spend. A whole lot of hand motions here, but you get the point. And they weren't doing this. They were actually, we found out when we brought this up to them, that the agency was asked to run a traffic campaign only for 1 month, a year prior before they stopped running the traffic campaigns. Actually, they never stopped, but it was a year prior from when we talked to them. And that was only to hit their traffic goals for that month. And that agency kept running those ads, but they were also charging based off percentage of ad spend. So you never know what was going on there. Test for incrementality if you're going to run traffic campaigns and awareness campaigns, and make sure that it actually has an impact on your overall return on ad spend. Mistake number three, this was an over-reliance on interest targeting. We do like to use interest targeting, but that's only to squeeze the efficiency out of already proven ads. We know they work in broad. We can put them into the scaling campaign, and then we test in different interests just to squeeze the extra efficiency out. But what happens if you only run an interest targeting campaigns is that once the ad goes through the entire interest, it's going to get knocked into broad, and 90% of the time, it's not going to be able to scale into broad. It's not going to be able to hold its efficiency. So you're going to have to turn them off every time they run through that interest targeting. And that's exactly what was happening with this brand. Every 2 weeks, like clockwork, they had to turn these ads off because they weren't crafting evergreen ads. What you can do with the Facebook ads when you're testing in broad is you can isolate variables and test each different part of the ad and know exactly what works and why it works. And once you build the perfect ad, it's efficient and it's holding its efficiency. You scale it up within the testing campaign, and it's holding its efficiency there. You put it into the scaling campaign, that's looking great. And then you bring it into the audience targeting just to squeeze that extra efficiency out. The fourth mistake, this was budget optimization. So when campaigns were doing really well and holding their efficiency consistently, they didn't increase the budget for that ad set or that campaign. And that's just a wasted opportunity to scale. And when a campaign was doing poorly and it was underperforming under their target ROAS, which was 2, they didn't reduce the spend. Sometimes they increase the spend, which that also, that's not great. But what needs to happen is when your campaign is consistently overperforming, you need to increase that spend, get more customers in through there and see if it holds that scale. And then once it dips or it stays at your target ROAS, just keep it until then. Find more ads to push into that campaign, more winning ads that push in that campaign until you're able to actually push through that scale. If an ad is underperforming, or if a campaign is underperforming or an ad set, you want to reduce that ad spend until you're at an efficiency that you're happy with. And if you can't get that efficiency, you need better ads in there. That's what it comes down to. And actually there was one example in this too, that they had this ad set that was performing really well. They wanted to increase spend. That's fantastic. Big thumbs up. However, they increased the spend from $750 a day to $1,200 a day, and that is way too big of a change for Facebook. Facebook can't handle that. The efficiency is going to crash right away. And what happened is 4 days later, they had to reduce the ad spend from $1,200 a day to $500 a day. And that's just a night and day. Like, that is an example of why you don't do that. But if you do need to scale that fast, just duplicate the ad set or the campaign at that higher scale, and you'll be fine. But if you want to scale a little more consistently within that same campaign or ad set, you can increase the budget about 20% every few days, 2-3 days. This is all, it's kind of best judgment for this too, because if you're at a lower ad spend, like $50 a day, you can increase to $100 a day, no problem. But if you're at that $1,200 a day mark, then you want to increase by 20% gradually there. Unless you need to scale up to say $5,000 a day, then you duplicate the ad set, kill the lower spend one, keep the higher spend one, and run it, and you'll be fine. Mistake number 5. This is a super easy win if you're not doing this already, and it's to use post IDs. So let's say you're building your ads in your testing campaign. A few were doing really well. You're able to scale them within the testing campaign, and you want to put those ads over into your scaling campaign. Use the post ID to carry those into the scaling campaign so it carries over the social proof. They weren't doing this, so they had a whole bunch of different ads that had 2, 5, 100 likes, and instead they could have had 300 likes all in one. I know that math didn't math, but you get the point. It carries over the social proof so that when people see your ad, they already see that people are reacting to this, that are interested in this, and you're gonna get lower cost per clicks through that. If you don't use post IDs, Facebook is gonna think that's a brand new ad, and it's gonna have to refine the target audience that was working for that ad. So it's going to take a little bit more time to get up and running in your scaling campaign, and it's not going to have that social proof that you already built up for that. So it's going to have higher cost per clicks to start until it gathers that social proof again. So that's a very easy win. Make sure you use post IDs if you're bringing your ads from your testing campaign to your scaling campaign, and they're going to hit the ground running. It's going to be fantastic. So all these mistakes were made for the exact same reason why the company was firing their agency, and the exact same reason why the company I worked at fired their agency, one of the largest in Canada, before putting me in charge of the meta ads and landing pages. And this is because when you're first talking to the agency, they're going to have a senior media buyer talking to you saying, look at all these fantastic results. Look at all these amazing testimonials from these massive companies. But what they don't tell you is their senior media buyers only work on those top 1% of accounts that agency has. And as soon as they sign you, you're going to get a junior media buyer who's learning on your dollar, and they don't know the ins and outs of this. And they're going to make those, well, $6 million mistakes if you're a $55 million brand. But that's why I started my agency, because I was fed up with this, and this is extremely common, just knocking off to junior media buyers, learning on your dollar. So when you work with us, you only get senior media buyers. We're not learning on your dollar. We know the ins and outs. We know how to scale. That's why we're scale scientists. Break it down. And yeah, if you guys need help with meta ads and landing pages, let us know, email us, check out our website, scalescientist.com. And if you want a free audit, deep dive audit, and plan of attack as well, then we can get that for you. And if you don't want to work with us after that, no hard feelings. You get some free insights and you know what to work on.